Good morning, students. Once again, a very hearty welcome to the English world of Aradhya. Myself, Rasmin sir, imparting knowledge of English to the students of 9 to 12 standard in English medium. Students, today we will take up your last lesson. The title of the lesson is Silk Road, written by Nick Middleton. Now, this is a particular lesson, students, describing a scenery in Himalaya. Okay, all those people who go by road for the parikrama of Himalaya, how difficult it is for them, what obstacles they face. They also face the obstacles from the climate side, because climate over there is very cold. They have to keep themselves first of all protected, and the roads are also narrow. Sometimes the snowfall occurs, and because of the snowfall, you see the roads also become slippery. So on such surfaces, it is very difficult to drive. Okay, if you miss out slightly, or while taking the turn also, if you don't maintain the proper balance or proper view in the eyes, then your car might fall down into the valley only. Okay, so along with the car you will also go down. So how difficult, all those things are just talked about in this particular lesson. And you see, a lesson contains a lot of description of this place, so you will come to know many other new words. Okay, kindly remember them in your memory, students. I will tell you from time to time the meanings of such new words. Okay, a flawless half moon floated in a perfect blue sky. On the morning we said goodbyes. Okay, so when the author started his journey, Nick Middleton, okay, when he started his journey, students, it was a perfect day. Okay, perfect half moon floated in the perfect blue sky. Okay, flawless means perfect. Okay, and floated means just moving in the sky here. And that time we said goodbyes to the people from where we started our journey. Okay, they left Rao, students. They were at Rao, that particular place. From there they are going to Mount Kailas. So let's see. It is not mentioned over here, but in the course of the lesson you will come to know they started their journey from Rao. So just remember that. Extended banks of cloud like long French loaves glowed pink as the sun emerged to splash the distant mountain tops with a rose tinted blush. Okay, from this line, students, nothing goes in the story part, only description is there. Okay, extended banks of clouds. So at such height you could find plenty of clouds. Extended bands of clouds means clouds were there in plenty of amount. Okay, then like long French loaves. Okay, French loaves you have seen. French loaves are long loaves of bread. Okay, when you cut them into slices, they become bread. Till that time, they are known as loaves. Uncut bread is known as loaves. Okay, singular form is loaf. Here, plural is given, so F is removed and VES are added. So that's why it becomes loaves. Okay, glowed pink as the sun emerged. So these clouds were earlier looking what? Pink colored. Okay, when the sun was coming out, and you see in the morning when the sun comes out. Okay, the best you can notice on the Uttarayan day. On the day of Uttarayan, earlier in the morning, if you go to your terrace, you will find the sun coming out, and it would give the pink or orange glow. Okay, reddish orange glow. So here same type of situation is there. The mountain, those clouds are giving the pink glow as the sun emerged to splash the distant mountain tops. Okay, now sun is throwing its light even on the distant mountain tops with a rose tinted blush. Blush means color over here again. So their tops are also looking like the rose tinted, rose colored. Okay, now that we were leaving Rao, Lamo said she wanted to give me a farewell present. Now, who is a Lamo over here? So, Lamo is nothing but a Tibetan girl, Lamo. Remember, students, you will come across a few awkward names, okay, which are common in this sort of area, in this hilly regions. Okay, so Lamo is a Tibetan girl. What did she do? She gave the author a long-sleeved sheepskin coat. Why? As a gift to protect himself from the cold. Okay. So Lamu said she wanted to give me a farewell present. And what was that farewell present? Nothing but a sheepskin coat. Okay. One evening, I told her through Daniel that I was heading towards Mount Kailash to complete the Korah. Korah here means nothing but the religious journey. So writer, you see, he is what? From name you can make out he is a Christian person. By caste he is Christian, Nick Middleton. But then also he goes for the Korah, means religious journey of Mount Kailash. Okay? So normally what Hindu people will go for such a journey. Here a Christian guy is going for that journey. And he had already told Daniel. Okay? And Daniel had told Lamu. So through Daniel he sent that message to Lamu. Okay? That I was heading towards Mount Kailash to complete the Korah, and she had said that I ought to get some warmer clothes because she is familiar of that region, about that region. Okay, she knows what is the climate over there. And this Nick, our author or narrator, whatever you call, he has come from totally a different area, so he doesn't know anything about the climate over there. So that time, Lamu had said that he would require what, some warm clothes. After ducking back, yani moving back quickly into her tent, she emerged carrying one of the long-sleeved sheepskin coats that all the men wore. So that is a common thing in that area. The people of that particular area, they will be wearing what? Sheepskin, long-sleeved coats, long sleeve, not half sleeve, so that their hands also can be protected up till the wrist. Understood? From the cold. So she took out one such coat and came out with it. Satan sized me up as we clambered into his car. Okay, students, so you see here, Satan is their driver. Here the name begins with T, but T is silent, so we call it Satan. Okay, so here students, you see, Satan sized me up as we clambered into his car. Clambered means climbed into his car. So Satan measured the size. Yes, he declared, Drogba, sir. Okay, Drogba. Drogba means a shepherd over here. Drogba, sir. We took a shortcut to get off the Changteng. Now, first they were going to this particular place known as Changteng. So we took a shortcut to get off the Changteng. Satan knew a route would be that would take us southwest, almost directly towards Mount Kailash. So it was a shortcut, students. That route which Satan is taking, it is a shortcut. But the problem is they will have a lot of danger over there, lot of risk over there. Okay, risk may come in any form. Okay, so it was a risky journey. It involved crossing several very high mountain passes. And mountain passes, students, are not so easy to cross. Even when you go by car or any other four-wheeler, they are not so easy to cross. Okay, you must have gone to some mountainous areas over here. You must have gone to Pavagadh, you must have gone to Abu Ambaji. There you see the roads are sometimes so steep. We might wonder how the car will go up. Steep means very vertical. Okay, gradual slope is there, then no problem. Gradual slope, then your four-wheeler can easily go over it. But steep, vertical, almost vertical, then the car or four-wheeler may not go high. Okay, it might fall down. Again, come back. So that was again a risky. So these mountain passes over here are very risky. He said, but no problem, sir. He assured us. It means he told us with surety. You don't worry about that because he is a regular driver in that area. So he knows how to drive in such roads. Okay, on such roads. If there is no snow, what was the likelihood of that, I asked. Okay. So writer, he is also worrying about the weather. He is also worrying about the climate. So that's why he is asking. So if there was no snow, that is what Satan says. If there was no snow, no problem. But if snow takes place, snow occurs, then only we'll have to be a bit careful. Okay. And then the author himself asked him, what are the chances of it? What was the likelihood of that? Means what are the chances of it? What are the possibilities of snow in that area? Not knowing, sir, until we get there. So Satan also, he has been driving in that area for a long time. Then also he says that we cannot say until we reach that area. When we reach that area, then only we can make out whether the snow will come or not. Okay. From the gently rolling hills of Rao, the shortcut took us across vast open plains with nothing in them except a few gazelles. Okay. So gazelles are nothing but antelope, students, that would look up from nibbling the arid pastures and frown before bouncing back into the void. Okay, so they came across one vast area which was having nothing. It was completely plain area. But some gazelles could be found. Gazelles means antelopes. Okay, they are like deers. And what were they doing? They were just nibbling the grass. They were chewing the grass. So basically it was a grassland. Okay, all around them they could see the grassland. At certain heights you will find such grasslands. Okay. And when they saw the car moving or the four-wheeler of the Satan moving, so they would just look up while chewing. Okay, and what they were chewing? They were chewing the arid pastures. Okay, dry pastures. And frown. And frown means showed their dislike that they are chewing. Their what we can say eating was disturbed by the arrival of this car. Before bouncing back into the void. Okay, in the void, blank area, they just disappeared into that. Okay, bouncing back, yani jumping away. Further on, where the plains became more stony than grassy, a great herd of wild ass came into view. Earlier there were gazelles, antelopes, and now what they say? Now the grass area gets over and it is replaced with the stony area. As they go ahead, a stony area appears. And in the stony area, which are the creatures over there? The asses. Okay, as wild asses. Jungli Gade. Okay, came into view. Satan told us we were approaching them long before they appeared. So Satan has gone to this place many a times. He has taken many travelers to that particular place. So he knows. So that's why he says that before they appeared, we were moving towards them. Okay. Kyang, he said, pointing towards a far off pall of dust. Okay. So Kyang means, students, here it is nothing but a wild S. Okay. So he pointed out that particular S, group of S. Okay. So Kyang, he said, pointing towards a far off pall of dust. Pall of dust means friend of dust. In that area, dry area, grass is not there, so dust will be flying here and there. And who is their friend over there? Pall means friend. The only friend of them is this wild donkeys. Okay. When we drew near, I could see the herd galloping en masse. En masse means together. Okay. Wheeling and turning in tight formation as if they were practicing maneuvers on some predetermined course. Okay, they were moving, all of them moving together, as if they were moving away from us, as if they were making certain movements. Maneuvers means movements. Okay, on some predetermined course. Where they were making such movements? They were making such movements on the pre-decided course, means way, path. Understood? So as we reached them, went near them, they just went away in that position. Plumes of dust billowed into the crisp, clean air. Okay, as they went away, a lot of dust flew into the air. Billowed means flowed into the air. Into the crisp, clean air, because that side you see it is stony area. So that's why air over there, and height is also there, students. So at height you will get what? Pure clean air. So when they ran away, this group of donkeys, wild donkeys, when they ran away, what happened? A lot of dust flowed into the crisp air. Okay, crisp here means dry and cold. As hills started to push up once more from the rocky wilderness, we passed solitary drogmas tending their flocks. Understood, students? As hills started to push up once more from the rocky wilderness. Now you see, students, the hilly area comes. Up till now, first there was grassy area, then students stony area, and now hilly areas. So when hilly area appears, what happens? Here he describes when the hilly area came, you see, started to push up once more from the rocky wilderness. Okay, up till now it was a rock cut area, so all the area was covered with rocks, and there was no one else, so it was a wasteland. Wilderness means wasteland. We passed solitary drachmas tending their flocks. So in that area also they could find some people. And who are the people over here? People were drachmas. And who are the drachmas? Drachmas are the shepherds who are attending their flocks, means flock of sheep or flock of goats. That is called बकरे का झुंड या गेटे का झुंड, उनको उनकी देखभाल कर रहे थे. Sometimes men, sometimes women, these well-wrapped figures would pause and stare at our car. Okay, sometimes they would also see some men and women. For them, when a car passes by them, it is something like a new thing. It is a novelty for them. Okay, so they would just stare at us. Stare means continuously look at us, occasionally waving as we passed, and sometimes they would also wave as we passed. When the track took us close to their animals, students, the sheep would take evasive action. Okay, when the track was very close to their animal, okay, track is passing on track only, these people are running their car. When the track was very close to their animal, what the animals would do? The animals, the sheep, would take evasive action. Evasive means to avoid us. Okay, that sort of action. Veering away from the speeding vehicle. Veering away, students, means just turning away. Okay, scampering from us. That is called veering away. Swerving. Swerving means taking turn from the speeding vehicle. So they would automatically take turn and just go away, run away. Okay, students, we passed nomads' dark tents pitched in the splendid isolation. Now this area is very much isolated. You don't find many people over there. Very few people live in this area. So later on they also found what? The nomads' dark tents. Nomads means the wanderers, the people who wander from place to place. Okay, बंजारे जिनको बोलते हैं. So their tents were pitched up in this splendid isolation. Splendid, that isolation looks very superb, splendid. Usually with a huge black dog, a Tibetan Mastiff. Okay, now they were also having one dog, at least one dog. And what is the name of that dog? The name of that dog is Tibetan Mastiff. And how were they? Okay, standing guard. So the dogs only are guarding them. These beasts would cock their great heads when they became aware of our approach. Okay, students, and fix us in their sides. So these beasts would cock their big heads. Cock their big heads, yani just raise their big head, make it erect when they saw us. Okay, and became aware of our approach and fix us in their sides. They would see, and they would just see us only. Fix us in their sight means they would see us only, no other thing. As we continued to draw closer, they would explode into action. Okay, they would not sit quietly. They would now come into action, explode into action, and burst into action, speeding directly towards us. How? They are loose dogs, they are not tied. So they would directly speed towards us like a bullet from a gun and nearly as fast. Okay, they would come to us like a bullet only. Okay, at that speed they would run towards us. These shaggy monsters, blacker than the darkest nights, usually wore bright red collars and barked furiously with massive jaws. So this is their action. One is they are running at the bullet speed. and second is they are barking. Okay, barking students furiously with their massive jaw. Looking at their jaws only, one would get frightened. If they are not in car, they are not safe because they are covered with the glasses of car, so they are safe. Otherwise, if a person goes on bike, these dogs would make them fall and might bite them all over. They were completely fearless of our vehicle, shooting straight into our path. Shooting straight means coming right into our path, causing Satan to brake and swerve. And this would make Satan to apply brakes and swerve. Swerve means to take a turn. Because even though we were in car, we were not safe. Okay. The dog would make chase for 100 meters or so before easing off. Okay. So before just becoming less violent, they would chase us for 100 meters. Now 100 meters is not a small distance, students. Okay, having seen us off the property, when we are off their property, then only they would relax. It wasn't difficult to understand why ferocious Tibetan Mastiffs became popular in China's imperial courts as hunting dogs. So from their movements, from their action only we can make out why in China's imperial courts, yani royal courts, they used to keep such dogs, hunting dogs, brought along the Silk Road in ancient times as tribute from Tibet. Tribute means gift from Tibet. So these Chinese people had got these dogs and they used to keep those dogs in their courts. But actually they got those dogs as gifts from the Tibetan peoples. Understood? In the ancient China. That is what talked about over here. So students, I think here we will stop. So far it's clear to you. The writer has started from Rao and he is moving towards Mount Kailas. On his way, all the things that he observes, just read this part once again to get the thorough understanding. Okay, we will stop over here. Thank you. Have a nice day. God bless you.